All right, so now we're moving on to example 2, using potato diagrams to find the domain and range of functions. Here we have f mapping 3, 5, and 7 all to 1. 11 goes to nothing. There's no arrow out of it. And 13 maps to 3. So before finding the domain and range of this thing, we need to first determine whether or not this is indeed a function. So remember, a function maps one input to one output. That is, each input does not give us two or more arrows coming out of it. So as long as each input here, or each value, has exactly one output or fewer, it's a function. So we only have one arrow coming out of 3, one coming out of 5, one coming out of 7, none coming out of 11, and one coming out of 13. So we have at most one arrow coming out of every one of these guys here. Yes, 11 does not have an arrow coming out of it, but what that means is that, well, f is not going to be defined at 11. It's just an extra thing I have over here in the left potato, okay? But everything else has an output. Another thing I want to notice here is that 3, 5, and 7 all map to 1. Is that a problem in this case? Not at all, because as long as each input maps to exactly one output, it doesn't matter what that single output is. Even if a bunch of them map to the same place, they only all have one arrow coming out of each. So in which case, this is still a function. It's just not defined everywhere, because we don't have a definition for where 11 goes. It is a function, so what's the domain? Domain of f. Remember, the domain of a function is the set of all things that I can plug into my function and get something out. So in this case, what are the things that I can plug in? Or that is, what are the things that have an arrow coming out of them that give me some output over here in the codomain space? In this case, I have 3, 5, and 7 all mapped to something. 11 maps to nothing. So our domain is 3, 5, 7, and 13. Not including 11, because 11 doesn't go anywhere. Okay? How about the range? Range of f, or the range of any function, is the set of all possible y values, or the set of all possible outputs for a function. So our function only points to 1 and 3. So those are the only outputs possible via this function f here. So we write the set containing 1 and 3. And that's our range. So we've successfully determined that this is a function, we found its domain, we found its range, and we're done. So if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. And if you want to see even more examples like this, or even more complicated examples where we're not using a potato diagram, please either keep watching this playlist on YouTube or head over to Project Greater Ed, where you're going to see a lot more examples than this guy. Hope to see you there.